Let's see, camera.
Mm-hmm. God damn, look at my hair.
I'm already high as fuck. I kept mashing the fucking button with my finger on my computer about 5 times before I realized it's not a fucking touch screen and I have to use the trackpad. Answer! Answer! Oh, man.
Pretty good.
Good.
It looks like a that's not. It looks like a butt behind you, but it isn't, is it? Even in the picture. Chad.
I don't know where at.
It looks like there's like that picture behind Chad. To the left of Chad.
Here?
Yeah.
That's my I found my tapestry that my wife bought for me years ago to put in my stoner shed. So
Nice.
I thought I'd throw it up on the wall.
Yeah, I like it. It made me think about peeling weed into a bowl, which I do have done. I was at I didn't have my shit set up when we did the Henry run. That was fun. And Henry's such a nice guy that when I talk shit about anybody, I think anybody, but Mishka in particular, but Henry's just, it'd be nice to see all you guys. Like, oh man, I'm a shitty person, even
It's okay, Andy. You've got cancer. You can say whatever.
I know. I was just gonna throw myself that that attitude, but yeah, I got cancer. I can be a little fucking surly.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been a.
I didn't mean that. It must have been the cancer.
Yeah.
That's
the tumor talking. That's just tumor talk.
Uh-huh.
Cancer's evil, man. Gets in you.
Wait, you mean I got a tumor again? Or a tumor? I don't think I ever had a tumor. My dad did.
Yeah, he had 5 of them.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then Larry. Larry's a malignant, but yeah, I guess they run in the fam. But I was just thinking, it's like have you seen the Madison Cawthorn video, Brett? I put it up on Twitter. He's like wrestling, it's just another video of him. It's like he thinks being gay is funny, and he's but he's like, oh, and he's wrestling with a guy, and they're going ooga wooga, and in their underpants, and he goes, oh, your dick is in my face, or it's just, and then he's trying. I started the morning off. There was a video by him where he's explaining that, oh, it's just locker room hijinks or whatever. Because he must have known this next one was coming. It's just like, dude, it's like, okay, you dressed up in drag. It was on a cruise ship. It was just being silly. It was before you ran for office. And then touching your cousin's junk and laughing, of course. But this one's going to be a little hard to get past.
It's always angered me the most, like when you go back to Trump, what really has bothered me about him and everybody on that side, aside from the devastating effect of peeling away all of your important social civil liberties, it's just the fact that people who like them think they're funny. They think that that's a funny bit. They thought Trump was funny. They think Madison Cawthorn's being funny. They think it's funny when Marjorie Taylor Greene talks. It's like, it's one thing to disagree with somebody, and you can disagree with me. I'm wrong about a lot of shit. That's okay. But I'm not wrong about the fact that these people are not at all funny. There's nothing funny about what they're doing. Trump did the thing where he made fun of the handicapped fucking reporter, and they laughed at it.
It's a terrible bit, but he should always close with it. It is like, it's one of the bits that he dropped. He just did it that one time, but it's like right
do the thing where he should have Junior come out and stand behind him, and then put his arms back behind Junior, and have Junior's hands be the hands that come around in front and do all the improv shit. They're gonna do hacky closes. Yeah. But Madison Cawthorn is one of those guys. Like, without even having seen this video, I'm sure that whatever he was doing, wrestling around in his underwear, I'm sure the parts that they think are hilarious are absolutely, unequivocally not funny.
Yeah, it's
And
not
it's
funny.
not, and I don't mean not funny in a I'm offended by this, it's not funny sort of way. I just mean that's just not funny.
No humor
What's
to
funny
it.
about that?
Yeah.
There's nothing clever about it. It's just it's embarrassing that you think that's funny, and that's always bugged me.
I just saw a clip show. It's not really related to this, but kind of like Tosh.0, or what's that other really fucking hard to watch one?
Ridiculousness.
This is one for the people that you're talking about. Like Tosh.0 is too edgy. It's like Right Here and Now, where they just show clips and it's a panel of like people. It's ridiculously stupid.
It is. It's just. I mean, the movie Idiocracy came out, all those years ago, and it's like there are elements of it that weren't around at the time that they kind of predicted. But oh shit, I gotta. Hey, bro.
Whoa! Look out!
Fast moving.
Hey, I took about 3 shits before we did this, so if I do that, that's why.
I'll say this about Idiocracy and the things it predicted. Like, I think that, for instance,
I misread it. I'm sorry.
We're talking about Idiocracy, and you're talking about all the stuff it predicted and what we think is funny. I think that Idiocracy's future show, Ooh, My Balls, is 1,000 times funnier than anything Madison Cawthorn is going to do, or Lauren Boebert is going to do, or Trump is going to do, that people think for some reason is hilarious. So I mean, that's the level that they're at. They're miles below. Ooh, my balls.
Yeah, remember when people complained about how dumb the blue collar comedy tour is, and like what Trump is like doing the blue collar comedy tour crowds or whatever, or
without writers.
But then now they don't even demand. What's the least popular one's name?
Bill Engvall.
Bill Engvall. They don't even come up with Bill Engvall type of, here's your sign. They just go out and talk crazy shit.
Well, it's
and think outrageous, flippant bullshit is funny.
Yeah, they love that one fucking comic, J.P. Sears, I think his name is, and he's like a redhead with really long red hair, and he always does he's like, here's a video of a vegan, and he prances around, and he's like, oh, I don't like any food, I don't eat meat, and everyone's like, 10 million views, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's apery. That's all it is. There's no writing in it. It's just
you brought it up before, I think, Erickson, with the I think on like Instagram reels and stuff. There's a couple of people that just lip sync other comedians and have more views than the actual comedian ever imagined.
Yeah, well, that's a whole thing now on TikTok. I've heard. I don't know. I don't TikTok.
I think my material, like, they should dig up my old disc and have some outrageous Yeah. Maybe if you can find it out there, but like a Christian, that could be a thing in the future where like it's just like a youth groups go around, and go mock comics, do the lip sync, and then they talk about how vulgar or stupid they think it is.
Yeah.
You just need to check their tits out to lip sync your comedy, and it'll get popular.
Yeah.
Its merits. I mean, it's still the jokes are the same. They're hilarious. It's still you. Which I get to look at tits now. I guess is the appeal.
Just have cleavage, and then have like whipped cream or stuff dropping on it while the disc is playing behind it, and see how many views you get.
You could get a hot girl to lip sync your album, and you could call it Cleavage for the Masses.
Yeah. I ran across, those like Facebook reels, and it was a dude who had like a Batmobile, and I wanted to watch it sort of, but I didn't want to give, that ego, even if it was just like, it's like, the fuck has the money to build a Batmobile? Fuck off, but I still am kind of, he did look like he had a Bruce Wayne type of situation.
Shaylee's here, everybody. Hi, Shaylee.
Hey, Shaylee.
Cheers, everybody. The Hennigans have left the building.
Yeah.
About 15 minutes ago.
Wow.
Shouldn't it be stronger than wine?
So the sound is still in your head, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But the two of them together, I think he reaches a different pitch or two around just Aubrey than if he was just around dudes. I think he gets, he covers a different range.
He was great. They were both great. We had a really nice time. Now, I say that having spent 10 hours a day at the Tesla factory. And
perfect for you.
Yeah. So they were fine.
Okay. See.
But no, they were really good, and we had a good time. And the whole time they were coming, we're like, we love Brian, and of course anybody's welcome to come anytime. But we're like, why the fuck are they coming on a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Like, that's just a weird time
especially with you working.
Yeah,
those times too.
And then on Monday, Mitchell took the Hennigans and Lulu and Chica and some of the other future bartenders who were here all to the new club to check on the state of the renovations and
make sure they were doing everything right.
Make sure they were doing it right. Crack the whip on those boys. And afterwards, they went across the street to a bar and they were having lunch and about 3 or 4 margaritas deep. Everyone's pretty hammered. And then randomly into the bar walks Doug Stanhope in his pajamas. He was staying in the hotel, close to Vulcan, which is close to the club.
6th
Street. And he went downstairs for lunch in his pajamas because they had tacos, but then he didn't like the tacos because he had a whole rant, of course. But the tacos were like avocado tacos.
Octopus.
Yeah, it was all bullshit. He's like, God damn it. Oh, you improved tacos by removing the cheese and ground beef? Fuck you. So he's like, I'll just go to that El Camino casino bar because they've got great burgers and it's right around the corner. And it's fine. It's noon. Nobody will recognize me. It's dark in there. And he walked in and he couldn't see anything because he's coming in from the light. And immediately a table of 8 sitting right next to the door fucking screamed and lost their fucking minds because he walked in on Mitchell and Lulu and Chica and Hennigan and Curtis from the Comedy Store. The whole thing. It was insane. So yeah, so Doug was here. Awesome. So that explained it all. It's like, oh, that's why Hennigan's here. Doug's here. He's doing Rogan's podcast and did a show. So it was fun. Last night at the Vulcan, this was the lineup. Hans Kim was the host, who's a Kill Tony regular, a very good young comic. Then it went Doug Stanhope, Ron White, Roseanne Barr, Tony Hinchcliffe, Joe Rogan.
Oh shit!
Yeah. It was killer. It was fucking killer. So
that's not the club. Rogan's. It's
the temporary club. It's the Vulcan Gas Company where they do the Kill Tony show, and Joe does shows there usually on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's Redman's Secret Show is there on Thursdays. It's acting as the de facto club at the moment. But yeah, it was fun. So yeah, a fucking hell of a
And then you had to go to work in the.
Then I had to go to work at 4:00 this morning.
Who's that with Stanhope in the picture, Shaylee?
Hennigan.
That's Hennigan.
Oh, it is? I can't tell with that hat on. Doesn't look like him to me with that hat on, I guess.
Yeah,
it does cover his head.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, the forehead's missing, and that's kind of a...
it looks like an older picture for sure.
Yeah, it's an older picture.
Yeah.
Hennigan looks like a happy person, so it doesn't seem like it's Hennigan,
90? Are you saying 98?
Not that far back, but the trailers are there, so it's been a minute. About 4 years.
Yeah, no, 98 probably.
Oh, that was when we were doing 30 Days in the Hole.
Oh, I just knew it was a while back because Stanhope still had hair.
Yeah.
Been a while.
But the other big clip. Also, did you see the? You obviously saw Chappelle's.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Huh?
Yeah, it's such a blur, but I'm sure everybody will have seen it by now. But a dude bum
Wait, it's
rushes.
videotape?
The quick clip of Chappelle getting tackled
I
attempted
retweeted it. It's on my Twitter.
You're not even supposed to have I think he has you turn in your cell phones, check.
Yeah.
So somebody still got this, but it's real blurry. And I guess the dude was armed, but he got tackled or not. You can't tell from the clip. It looks like, but it is fucking like a fierce hit. It's like this dude really got momentum before he hit Chappelle.
Yeah, no, it seems like a blitzing linebacker, hitting the quarterback.
Yeah, it's a good.
And the dude's arm ended up on backwards at the end of the whole thing.
Yeah. And the dude, I guess the dude had, from what I read earlier, he had weapons. So that would explain how fucked up he got from.
I heard that he had a replica gun.
That's what I
A gun that shoots knives.
A gun that shoots knives. It was a knife. It had a knife in
it. Chad would have one if that was a thing.
Yeah.
Knife shooting gun.
It's impractical. I don't want one of them.
Yeah.
But that's pretty fucked up, man.
Yeah, man. And that was at the Hollywood Bowl. Oh, so that's what he had? Shit. Man. I mean, I see him he should have gotten fucked up because he wrote one. You ain't supposed to even get up on stage, man. So that's off right there. And then he hit the but go ahead, Chad.
Isn't it weird that they make you put your phone in the little bag, but they let you keep your knife gun?
Yeah, I know.
Actually, knife guns were banned, but gun knives are allowed.
Shit!
Loophole. So
goddamn loophole.
It's the handle. The handle is what. Yeah.
How about a switchblade comb that's also a knife?
The dude's like, what about my gun knife? And they're like, does it have a record button? No. Yeah, you're good.
All right, go on. You're holding up the line.
You're fine.
Are you here to see Fonseca?
What was the point of the attack? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Ever really said. He just it was a quick hit. He fucking charged full on and tried to tackle him. And
I'm assuming he was offended.
Yeah.
Hollywood Bowl is an interesting place in that there's a few venues like that where it is like you could be standing on the ground right in front, and you could easily hop up like on stage, like you could almost jump it, and it's because it's like a civil, like people sit down and watch orchestras or the Nutcracker or something there. But it's like that doesn't mean there's not crazy people.
Right.
Because I used to jump on stage. I did that and got trespassed at a couple of venues. And one of them was Irvine Meadows. And it was fuck, man, I can't remember the band. The band that did Gold. Spandau Ballet.
Oh yeah.
What?
Jumped on stage at a Spandau Ballet show, and there was a little catwalk that came out. And when I jumped on stage and I'm running around, the singer had gone out on the catwalk, so there was a spotlight on him, and the stage was dark, and I'm like, how do I get off of here? Wait, where am I supposed to go? And then they took me right to the exit.
What's their hit? True?
Yeah.
I was thinking of that.
Yeah. Did you wait until they played that song before you got thrown out? Because
I can't remember what song was on, but I do remember like me looking at the security guard going like, what took you so long? Get me out of here. I don't know what to do. I had no plan. I'm
just saying, if they haven't played that song yet, you got to wait till they play that song. And once they have played that song, go ahead and get yourself thrown out. I mean, you're not going to miss anything. It's
Kansas.
They played the song.
Yeah,
it really was one of those things where like, what were you going to do? I didn't have a gun knife, that's for sure. I didn't have a plan.
How different would comedy be if everybody was allowed a soft gun knife like that? It's like, all right, how many shots can you get off with that? Hey, it's just stabber only. Okay, take it in. All right. I don't know why it sounds Australian.
It truly seems now like El Kabong was ahead of his time and right. And I know we've talked about it before.
The
I don't know if you
dude.
guys have ever seen the video. It's a video of this, like, hacky road comic somewhere in Oklahoma in like the late 80s or maybe early 90s, where he's a guitar act and he's playing his guitar.
Yeah.
And he gets into it with the crowd about something, and all of a sudden he takes his guitar off, and you see the guy, and he does like this a couple times, and then all of a sudden he takes a step forward, and you just hear, and he pulls the guitar back, and it's smashed, and the crowd is like, no, what the? And he looks at the crowd and he goes, you all seen it. He came at me. And they're all like, no, he didn't. You're blah, blah, blah. And then the guy who became known as El Kabong, when the crowd doesn't react the way he had hoped, he just kind of stands there for a second and looks side to side, takes his guitar pick that he still has in his right hand, puts it in the strings of the neck of the guitar, like where he keeps it, even though the guitar is trash. And then he goes, show's over, and fucking beeline there. And it's just a single shitty static camera in the back of the room. You never see the guy. You only see him swing off camera and then pull back a broken guitar.
Is there a movie about that? I mean, just that incident should almost be. I'd like to know what happened to the dude who got hit.
I know, there really should be a deep dive fucking.
Did him and his girlfriend stay together?
Right. Yeah,
usually
maybe we should do some research on that.
Yeah, when a dude will react like that, it's because he's, sometimes it's because he fucked with them, but sometimes it's just their chicks offended.
I mean, there's enough of the video. We'll try to find the whole video and maybe throw it up on.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, real. Got it here. I don't know how to play it.
When he does a couple of check swings, but when he swings that guitar, it's as true as any note he ever played on that guitar.
Oh man, he makes full contact. It's full contact guitar. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it really was. There's enough context there that when it happened, I mean, I think that guy was like done in comedy. I mean, I think
that was 30 years ago.
Yeah, but now it's like, that was his Ron Artest moment where he had to serve a long suspension afterwards for attacking the fans. But now it seems like he knew what was coming. He was fucking right,
Now he has a weekly podcast where he interviews comics that have been assaulted recently.
Yeah, dude.
This week we have Rick Moranis is here. Is what?
Benny Moore, that's right.
Benny Moore.
Benny? That's
Kenny with a K.
Oh, Kenny.
Kenny. Castle Rock.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll have to do a little research.
I remember when I saw that footage the first time and then I watched it. It was like the watching the Kennedy assassination for comics. It's like, it's just like and that dude came right up. He was just as fast as that guy's swing on the guitar. So it was like, it was the perfect storm there.
He definitely approaches the stage close enough to get hit by a guy who never leaves the stage. Like I can see now. I mean, honestly, I can see now where that would, if a performer did that tomorrow, it would be fine because you have now threatened that performer by approaching the stage and getting that close to him. I think
it's like, it reminds me of Deadwood, or that guy. He never went for his gun, Mr. Hickok. He meant me harm.
This guy Kenny he's a Vietnam vet, and I'm just a real quick synopsis here. What's going on? What happened was, as he's recalling this in Guitar Player magazine, by the way.
Oh my God! Excellent.
The Smash edition. He said that the guy just kept stepping on his punchline, so he wasn't being like a heckler. He was like ruining the jokes, which is like more egregious.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's not like some drunk guy going, "Your mom said what?" I mean, he was ruining everything along the way. So he's quiet in between, and then just popped in every time.
That's you guys know this. That's almost always the case. I mean, there are so few times that I've been actually heckled, by by the true traditional meaning of the word, like, you suck, get off stage. It's usually just a loud talker, someone who thinks they need to have a conversation with you, someone who chimes in at, just like you're saying, the worst possible moments, steps on your dick when you get to a punchline. It's terrible, So that is usually the way it goes down.
He spent the weekend. He got off stage and he went to jail.
Really?
Kenny Moore went to jail for the weekend, and he was out about $5,000, and it basically prompted him to seek some anger management counseling and shit like that. But no one knows who this article does not identify who the heckler was.
Oh man.
How he's about the age of Righteous Gemstones guy. He's about that he could play him in a movie.
Danny McBride. Yeah, he looks
McBride.
like Danny McBride.
Yeah.
All right. We'll call it not Kenny Moore.
Yeah. That's that in and out. I mean, that whole thing is just like like what happened to him afterwards. But you should have just went into folk music after that, maybe, because he's already got the get a new guitar and then get back at it. But
I'm surprised he spent the weekend in jail. Honestly,
crowd. When the police came, the dude probably got injured, and then the police came, and then they said he didn't have reason to do that. The audience was probably all a little drunk and all talking over his punchlines.
It's clear that the audience, and when you watch it, it seems like he overstepped. But I'm just saying that it seems like you could get a decent enough lawyer who could make the argument that anyone who leaves their table and approaches the stage and gets
there's no reason to enter the realm of the performer.
For you to approach that unless you mean to do some damage. And again, this was 30 years ago. If he did this today, he would be a fucking hero.
See, that's the thing.
Totally right.
Through the lens of 31 years ago, this was mind-boggling that this happened. But in the wake of the Oscars and gun knife at the Chappelle show at the Hollywood Bowl, this guy was tame.
And we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. Is the women protesters at the basketball game approaching you, and you don't know if they have a weapon or not. And it turns out comedy was just waiting for the first person to come up and try to stop a comic with a weapon on him. Or at least he could have. I wonder if he tried just going next, like when he like that's a heckle when they don't like what you're doing. They'll just man, my line is they're all about on the same level, so I can flip into the next one. It's just gonna go fucking be a slideshow. Yeah, man, that guy, you could see that moment right there in his eyes. Is this guy really gonna fucking come up here? Because I'm about you can see the anger, man.
And then not only does the lawyer make the case that he was threatened by this guy leaving his table and getting that close to the stage, approaching him like that, but also, Your Honor, my client here is a veteran of the Vietnam War. He served his country admirably, and this sort of thing is a triggering thing for someone who suffers from as much PTSD as my client, Mr. Moore, does. And he's back in the jungle, man.
And he uses Roundup a lot, so there's pick a lane.
I found another one I heard on the radio. I got to research it, but if you were not fed breast milk and had a certain kind of formula, then you can get in and you got cancer. But I think it's probably I got to go a ways back and I don't have receipts.
Andy, you're still trying to hook onto some one of these class action lawsuits?
It doesn't hurt to get involved with all of them, because if you got cancer, you've already got the end result of what all these things are suing for.
Yeah.
So then it's like I'm just my ears tuned to it, like when they said. Do you have? Yes, I do have cancer. And then, my mom didn't. My mom wasn't breastfeeding me, and good for me. She was older. It would have been dried milk at that time, and formula would have been my choice.
Yeah, and you've already got cancer, so that's like That's like getting the boardwalk piece in the Monopoly McDonald's game. You know, like you've already got the tough one to get. Now you
Yeah,
just got to match it up with.
yeah, I did asbestos removal.
You got to see who's landing on that spot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anything, and yeah, probably some of the cat. Where'd Shaylee go?
Hey, I sent you guys the link
He's showing the link to the El Kabong.
for the guitar smashed over the heckler's head.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
If we were on Zoom, I could play it, but we're not on Zoom, so.
You could, man, yeah. That would just be like, you know, you could interview like a bunch like comics with the guitars. See if that's ever come up. But I had a dude in Portland at Harvey's come up, and it was back in the days where Harvey's was a packed club, and a guy wanted to get up on stage to come at me. You know, this was probably in 90, 97, 98, wanted to come up, and I was in, like, I think I was the middle act. So it was at Harvey's, they had the 30-minute act would be the opener. Like they had, like, Barry thought this was such a great innovation he added to comedy. He just stole it from, I think Canada did it that way or whatever. But anyway, so I was like the 15-minute guy in the middle. And this guy, I had 15 minutes, and so I wasn't doing announcements or anything. I just dive into material. And back then I was fucking, you know, fresh face and had hope and memorized my shit. And this guy fucking was up and wanted to come up on stage, and in a fight, I guess, was the thing. He wanted to fight me, and then I go, and then I was just like, you know, thinking on my feet, but I was like, I said, I'll smash you with the thing, but I meant it, you know, the mic stand, and then Harvey's, the stage is real high, and the guy would have had to come up, go against the wall, and get past the fucking, you know, bridesmaids or whatever they would wedge in front at fucking Nightmare Club, and this guy was going to assault me, and then my natural reaction was, as just a youthful fucking guy, is I'll smash you in the fucking head, and I would have. Because and Harvey's there were really bad with security too, so the guy would have, and I don't know if that deterred him, or getting through the bridesmaids in the corner was a deterrent, but I was just like ready to go, and I didn't. I would have been kicked, you know. That would have been it for me. Harvey's, you can't make it at Harvey's.
I don't know if you remember this, Andy, but during the filming of the Unbookables, somebody charged the stage at Sean Rouse, and luckily there was some hero there to stop the guy and escort him off stage.
There was two heroes. There was, because you saw it, and you got there, and I was getting ready to do what that guy did into Chappelle. You can see if I mean, I'm not encouraging people to watch the movie.
I stopped the guy when he went on stage and pulled him off stage.
Yeah.
Because you were ready to do that?
Yeah, no. I was coming up the other side. I had everybody. I had his back too. I'm just saying that. I was ready. I was getting ready to run up and throw up underneath there like a. You can see if you have to watch the movie again. Or some fucking James Inman's got you in his basement. You're taped to a chair. Your head's taped to the back of the chair, and the Unbookables is on. When you see Brett grab that dude, I'm running up there, and then I stopped because I knew Mr. No Nonsense, the vice principal, had control of that huckster, and there was no need for me to break glass.
We needed Chad in the Unbookables. That would have changed the fucking vibe of the whole thing.
Yeah. Instead, we had Wilkerson as the risk.
You know, I put in in Google. I put in hecklers attacked by a comedian attacking a heckler or whatever, and it came up 9 times hecklers attacked a comedian, and the one time a comic hit a fan. And they have a list of these things, like the beer bottle, duck, here comes the mic stand. Number 3 is comedian punched on stage, James Inman, on the Comedy Underground stage, when a girl went up and started hitting on him.
On him or hitting him?
Like smacking him, like pelting him.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's one of his better clips.
Does the article say that the comedian for sure deserved it and probably should have gotten a harder beating?
Yeah, but
I don't
it's
know
funny
the situation,
it's
but
funny how little it's, you know, overall, because a lot of people film their sets, and you know, for as much shit has gone wrong in clubs, there hasn't been more of it. But that's like, you know, we're kind of fucking doomed.
I do think that we've reached a point where, you know, it seems like we've gotten to the point where people are talking about words being violence. And once you've established that, then violence gets to be violence. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. Like, you can justify attacking someone for something they say into the microphone because their words are violence. And the way Dave Chappelle's material aimed at transgender people has been framed by people who are offended by it as violence, as words that cause actual violence. So doing violence back to him is just, in their eye, an eye for an eye.
Tit for tat.
And that's a dangerous fucking thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We need George Carlin back.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he's popped up a bunch since this abortion. That's heading this way, and you go, almost like, man, you know, it's like, why do people even bother? Because Carlin had it so good, so perfect, word economy, just it was so beautiful. And now, you know, it's like, oh man, you know, and then it makes you think that I want to have a bit as great as Carlin's. Because I'm on the front line of a war, and you know, that person that's not only laughing, his wife's been fumbling in a purse, and it looks like she just pulled out a bomb, and I'm just kind of half, you know, this bit ain't half worked out.
Yeah.
Now, sit back, please don't kill me tonight. Let me work.
Not tonight. Let me work. Yeah, let me finish the bit first. Come back in 2 weeks. You'll be in the
hopefully that come. Could you imagine somebody pulling a gun and threatening like a Ralphie May on stage or something? But I mean,
well,
you know,
it would be impossible to miss if you shot at Ralphie May.
And thankfully, he's no longer a target like that. And I don't think Ralphie May would have been the guy who was shooting people would run up and protect Ralphie. Like, man, I like your comedy, Ralphie. You're one of my favorites. And it ain't even Ralphie's original material. It's stuff he might have just kind of commandeered.
Yeah, he never had any original material, so it would be impossible for him to do original material.
So yeah,
he treated other comedians' material like he treated food. You know,
all you can eat.
There was never anything he didn't like.
He'd take little bites of it until it was gone, and then it was his.
He liked it all.
Yeah, it's like you didn't have to ask you who's going to have that last. Oh, Ralphie.
Oh shit.
Jet, what pipe you smoking out of?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Back to old trusty.
That's what I'm on.
No. I'm ours look almost the same, Andy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have I ordered on the 19th of April, I ordered up a pipe head to fit on my freeze pipe thing. And they very quickly sent me the pipe head, but minus a bowl. I don't know how to. There it is. So I emailed them right away and said, "Hey, you guys didn't send me a bowl." And then a week later, they emailed me and said, "Can you send us a picture?" And so I sent them a picture, and now it's been a week as of right now that I haven't heard back again. So I hope everybody that we've recommended to them doesn't have the same shitty service that they give me.
Yeah. Well, freeze pipe, get your shit together.
Yeah, well, maybe that person quit or something and nobody knows, you know? So
right.
shit can happen.
Stoling your virtues, and you're fucking us over like this. Also, and we're going to tell you the truth when it happens.
I will say, as a diplomat, I might be unreasonable in my, I don't know how busy shit is. A week turnaround for an email for a mistake. I don't know. Maybe that's
an email. No.
The thing is, though, is it's just a reply. A reply can't get stuck on a container ship.
Right. There's not a supply chain issue with a fucking email reply. Hey, sorry we didn't send you a bowl. We'll send one out. it'll be to you in 2 to 3 weeks. That would be fine if they told you that.
I like to think it's because they realized, they said, hey, that's that guy that all the people on Twitter fucking said recommended him to get him a goddamn freeze pipe, package him up a giant package of free shit and send it to him. That's why it's taking them so long.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
They're putting a care
Boy, won't he be surprised.
So
throw a gun knife in there.
Use the code Andy, but if you have some problems, be willing to sit on it for a while, I guess. No, I mean that's why. Like I would, if I were to just go, hey man, here's something I could really sing the praises of: Sax underwear, keeping your balls all aligned and whatever. I always wear those, and stance socks. Like as far as like products, I would go. I actually could. I don't. The freeze pipe works for me. I just. But I'm so careless with shit that I like good customer service too.
Is this an endorsement? I'm
not sure.
what the fuck is going on
endorsement like Mitt Romney against abortion.
It was a passive aggressive endorsement. That was pretty.
So what it comes down to, folks, is this: go to freezepipe.com, use the promo code Andy, get 10% off of all of your purchases there, or use the promo code Chad and get no response at all, and have them send you nothing. So make your selection.
And get no discount.
Get no discount and no service, and have them ignore your whole thing and have no satisfaction at all. That's promo code Chad.
I still sing the praises of the product. I love the shit out of it.
We like freeze pipe, but you got to do better, guys.
And you were, man, anyway, I try not to do any more damage.
I don't think it matters.
Hey, Stan Socks,
I'll tell you guys a story about, I went to the lake the other day.
Which lake?
Fishing, Patagonia Lake.
Oh, yeah, I saw pictures of that. That's awesome.
Went over there to get some mosquito fish to put in the pond and just get out of the house and hang out.
How far away is that, Chad?
Yeah, about an hour.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm always amazed when I see lakes and stuff in in that region.
It's a real nice drive too. It's kind of back desert, nice scenery, and go through a little town that you can artsy town, stop and get wine in 2 different towns. One's a winery on the way there. It's a fucking neat little place.
There's a little coffee shop and a small bakery that's not open really late in the afternoon, but about when they close, the pizza place opens. So if you don't hit one, you can hit the other, and that pizza place is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, but we went to the lake out there, and my son and I were fishing, and we were drinking several beers and started pretty early. And these 2 old dudes pulled up to start fishing, like right in our cove. Like they pulled all the way up. I didn't even notice them till they were in there. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I go, hey, there's lines in there. We're fishing. And we actually had 2 coves where we were. My son was catfishing out the other one. And so the guy all backed up and mumbled or whatever. And they were older guys. And I kind of gave an attitude, but I didn't say too much. And then you hear my son's bell dinging on his rod because they went to the other one and caught his line. And my son jumped up and runs over there because he thinks he has a fish. And the guy goes, I think I caught your line. So I couldn't help it. I said, yeah, it's almost like somebody just told you that there's fucking lines there, huh, dipshit? And they immediately didn't know how to react. And I wanted to fight because my adrenaline goes. As soon as I call somebody a dipshit real loud to their face, like, I want to fight right now.
Those are fighting words. Dipshit. Calling somebody a dipshit.
Yeah.
You're putting the rubber to the road at that moment.
Numbnuts is in between. You don't know.
Yeah.
Might be kind of a
numbnuts with a smile doesn't usually come with a fist later.
But dipshit, unless you are just like real bored, just real stupid, he could go, I am a dipshit.
And my son said he was over there trying to apologize to him, but then I doubled down and just said, You got a fucking boat and you're gonna pull right up here where we're fishing, you fucking morons. And about that time, I was like, all right, you can't keep addressing. What are you going to jump into the boat and swim to them and beat them up?
Yeah.
So it was really impotent to keep doing it. But my adrenaline.
Throw me a line. I can't tread water. I want to kick your ass.
Yeah. He saves your life and pulls you up onto board, gives you CPR, and then when you come back to life, you just beat the shit out of him.
I'm walking beside the boat, blowing up my water wings. You wait, you son of a bitch.
You motherfucker.
So I decided to switch tactics, which is something I learned at the lake a long time ago, is you can't really get in trouble for being passive aggressive. If I keep being aggressive, like I'm going to get myself in trouble. So my son's already back now and he's laughing. So then I just start loudly talking about them to him. And I'm like, those guys fuck those guys. I go, they're fucking old. They're going to die soon anyway. Get their fucking retarded genes out of the fucking gene pool. And they can still hear me.
I'm so glad you went passive aggressive and not aggressive.
Well, I was talking to my son. I wasn't talking to them anymore. I was talking to, they were just in earshot of me, which was then the guy was staring at me. And I told my son, I go, look at that guy. I go, there's a guy staring at me. And I said something to the effect of, guy stares at me like that, I'll punch him right in the fucking face, and then I'll put my dick right in his mouth. And the guys got all scared because I was pretty drunk, and I told my son, I hope those old redneck dudes get fucking really nervous about shit like that. That makes them more uncomfortable than physical threats if you threaten gay shit on them. So I was just trying to agitate the guys that agitated
technically,
me.
it could have been an extension of violence instead of gay. Is you were going to punch him in the head and then put your dick in. It might have been to establish dominance, not for sexual gratification.
Well, if I was going to be gay, that'd be the way I'd do it, probably, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, yeah, those guys that bothers those guys more than just a threat of violence. Hopefully.
Yeah.
They turn their boat around.
1 in 10 is like, oh, hello, sailor.
How about this, though?
You want to fight and fuck? Let's do this.
I just kicked him under the fucking bathroom stall without knowing that's Blake code.
How about this, though, Chad? You reverse the order just to make the threat more awkward. I'm going to suck your dick to completion, and then I'm going to knock you out. That way he's got to think, oh, man, this guy's going to suck my dick, and then he's going to beat my ass, too.
I'm going to suck your dick till it bleeds.
The funniest part was they took off and they came back later, and I was looking at my son and I go, hey, that's them dudes. They went and got a bigger boat. They went over and rented a pontoon boat and had more people with them, and now those guys would not look at us, but another older guy I think that might have been the gay guy. That was probably shit. I was fucking close to an adventure.
They got Madison Cawthorn on the bus, and he's got on the boat with a lingerie on, and his cousin jerking his cousin off. I mean,
well, probably after Chad said that, they were like, "Oh shit, I need to go get Steve. This guy wants to be Steve."
Yeah,
I think he thinks we're Steve.
We met a guy.
Yeah, and then they're back. Yeah, I'll take that blowjob and beat him now, big guy.
I said a bunch of passive aggressive violent shit, which is probably closer to aggressive, but those are the ones
I think passive aggressive violent talk is I may come back and do something about that.
Yeah.
Well, see, one time at the lake, at that same lake, I was camping with my boys when they were teenagers, and we were smoking a bunch of weed, and not a bunch, but as we were smoking as much weed as you do at the lake, which is probably a bunch.
Chad, every week we see how much is a moderate amount.
You're a half instead of an 8.
In public, you moderate. You don't. The campgrounds are pretty close to each other. You don't want to smoke out your neighbors or do. This is back when it was illegal too, and I was smoking with teenagers for fuck's sake. So, but the neighbors beside us told on us, and the ranger came over and talked to me about it, and I was like, "The fuck, dude? No, I don't have. Of course not." And then of course, there's nothing he could do about it because I don't. He'd catch me. Someone just told him. So then we were just more careful about it. But when I got drunk later that night, they had a RV like all backed in right next to our camp. So they were like, their bedroom window was right next to where I was getting really fucked up. So when I got pretty fucked up, I started ranting about how fucking fucked up it would be if somebody was trapped in that RV when it was set on fire. And imagine them screaming, but they can't get out because somebody had blocked. I just told an entire story about how messed up that would be.
Wow.
And they took off. But I never.
I'm glad you're our friend.
People.
I know. Lately, every time I hear Chad talk, I think, can't they kick that Christina Sima out of office and or run like Chad just speaking to the Democrats and the Republicans to say, I smoked weed with some teenagers. Here I am shooting a gun. I'm for America. I'm not like that bitch. I'm not on the take. He says a lot of stuff that you could throw right up into a political ad and go, fuck yeah, Chad. Fuck yeah, for Chad for office.
I won't be corrupt because I won't even show up. I'm going to stay here for.
I'm going to take enough money to take care of me and my, my family, but I'm not going to take as much as she does.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get high on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where she's filling her pockets, I'll be getting high and relaxing and doing shit for the people. You got to go to them at the end. To the good people of Arizona. I'm Chad.
Yeah,
Shank.
you could do a whole thing with the lake analogy. You could be like, "Hi, I'm Chad Shank, and I'm running for U.S. Senate here in Arizona." The problem in Washington, D.C. is there's too many people fishing around your lines. Every time you throw a line in the water, somebody else got their lines right where your lines are. Well, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C., and I'm going to fix all that.
Mister, there's a way to untangle them lines.
Washington, D.C. in the face, and then I'm going to stick my dick right in D.C.'s mouth.
Yeah.
Vote for me.
The swamp's going to drain me.
A whole campaign where you just run on the honesty of horrible shit that you've done. I'm here to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know much about economics, but when my kids were in high school and I found out they were smoking weed, I started buying in pounds and letting them sell 20 sacks to their friends so we could all smoke for free. I'm a problem solver.
Yeah. Before that, I had to get up early to take those little fuckers on a paper route. After this, we were sleeping in, bitches.
Yeah, I'm going to use my office for jerking off. I'm not like these other politicians that are out chasing around teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, some people say that telling truth like this means that I'm going to lose. Good. I don't want to win. It's perfect. I hope I lose.
Yeah, gives me more time for shooting things. Boom, 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 boom. And then you cut to Chad cooking the pig's head.
Yeah.
He's like, and the people in Arizona would just see that because the people who get bombarded with ads, I think sometimes when you watch basketball games, hey, you tend to get them locally or whatever, but you almost have to be stupid to be like to watch a political ad, you either have to see it because it's ironic or or just stuck. But I mean, I can't imagine most people going, but when they saw Chad on the screen shooting guns and shit, they would probably go to the remote to turn the volume up.
Uh-huh. I don't think there's any way he could lose. I'll be honest with you. I think that you can run on irony. You can you can just do the thing of like, what's the least sensible thing we could say in this commercial? What's the thing that would get us, in a normal situation, what's the thing that would get us evicted from this fucking race? Let's say it.
Most politicians don't care about you, but Chad will tell you he doesn't care about you and why. I don't care about
alone. Just a fucking bunch of signs with my face that says "Leave me alone."
Yeah.
Wasn't there a movie about a politician, a guy who was running, but he was doing it like he didn't want to win, and that made everyone start
Brewster's Millions.
Trump
had it.
It's the whole Trump thing.
Brewster's Millions, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the
None
guy?
Of the above.
It was an old school. Who was the guy? It wasn't Richard Pryor. No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Brewster, I thought he was trying to spend money and he had a year to spend it or whatever.
Part of how he spent it was he ran a giant political
that was the best way to lose money.
None of the above. Don't vote for any of these assholes. Was his whole commercial. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what Well, Herschel Walker got introduced as an empty podium at a debate that they just had. He's running for Congress.
If he fucking wins,
yeah, if he wins,
mind blowing. He might win.
He might win because he's a football hero, and he's a nutty, fucking weird dude.
Well, I mean, Andy, I don't even think the word nutty applies.
Yeah,
he is
brain damage.
He is brain damage.
Who is it?
Herschel Walker.
He was ironically, but played football. He was the first draft pick of Donald Trump when he was the owner of the New Jersey Generals, I believe the team's name was.
Yeah, he was at the USFL.
And Trump killed the USFL.
Yeah, and Herschel Walker, I believe, was the first player to win the Heisman Trophy. Maybe Archie Griffin won it when he was a junior, but I think Herschel Walker might have won the Heisman Trophy like when he was a freshman or something. He was like a badass, and he went to Georgia. He was a Georgia Bulldog football hero. So even though he's not lived in Georgia for a long time, he's running for the Senate there, and he might actually win. And it's interesting when you think about how off kilter everything is, that he's running against a guy who is an actual Christian reverend, Raphael Warnock. But most of the Christian evangelicals in Georgia are going to vote for the football player. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's a hierarchy.
Yeah. It's like, well, wouldn't you want the guy who's like believes in Jesus like you do? No, we'll take the guy that's been hit in the head.
The problem with his being a politician now is the way he played football. Was he kind of led with his head on stuff, and now he's obviously seems to be like, I mean, he seems to like he can't like. I've seen him try to explain shit, and it's like he's either really dumb or he's brain damaged.
He's brain damaged. He's definitely going to be a guy that after he dies, they're going to look at his brain and find it riddled with whatever I was going to say CRT, but that's critical race theory. So his brain's definitely not riddled with that.
Well, it is probably. I mean, that's probably a speaking point. It's about, wouldn't that just like melt, but I mean, that's one of the talking points of the Republicans is like, they're going to force down the CRT or whatever. And then people say it over and over. And then people don't even really know what it really means. It's just, they think it means that they're cracker kids getting called a racist.
Herschel Walker actively, while campaigning, has been actively talking about how evolution is not true, and anyone who believes in evolution is an idiot. And if evolution were true, why are there still monkeys? I mean, people who make that argument are so fucking stupid. They should be allowed to have that opinion quietly by themselves somewhere. They should never be in a position of power or having say over how other people live their lives, because they're too stupid to look at some information, analyze it critically, and understand what they're looking at.
Or even if that a question occurs to you, be able to, like you said, extrapolate a little bit and go, "Oh, okay, I understand why that's dumb." I definitely always put the people who have that argument in my mind at the far end of stupid, for sure.
God.
Remember when holding the gun to your wife's head would be a disqualifier, where they go in a debate they would bring that up.
Yeah.
And now they're like, that's why I'm not. Well, Herschel's not debating, so he's smart about that, because all we go, well, Herschel, I hope you don't think you can just put a gun to our head like you did your wife up there where was that in Georgia? Like, he's got to run against guys who are racist too, to get it. Isn't he a primarian as a Republican? So he'll get the nod probably to run, and then he's got to run against. Isn't that how it works, or is he already?
I think he already has it. I'm not sure. I haven't been following it, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he's already the guy. I think it's him versus
Warnock. Warnock's raised 9.8 million, and Herschel Walker recently raised 4 million. So they're both well funded.
Yeah, it's so fucking. It's so. I mean, that's what it always comes down to. Like, this guy's gonna come on, I want this guy to win, but it's like, how about I just don't get involved and then see how this plays out or whatever. But it's like, oh man, I got to get this guy over the hump. And it's like, all right, he's got 14 million and he's got 6 million. It's because he's got all these other scams and he's getting money or whatever, unreporting and shit or whatever. And he still wins. It doesn't, it's not like raising the most money wins, but it usually helps.
Well, it helps push it, like in the last few days up to the primary. It helps put your name out there, and that's where they just dump just fucking millions of dollars, and they're basically putting that war chest together now. But it
short
looks like
ads flooding, the Facebook or whatever. But yeah, like Herschel Walker, there's a reason he skipped the debates is because he's he's done some fucking weird shit, and he can't really he wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, and he would also, because of his brain, he would look like a fucking idiot standing next to Raphael Warnock talking about anything. There will still be people who would vote for him because they're going to vote for the party they like, and that's the answer to that. But I mean, you don't want to go in. He's an athlete. He understands. He is, the fucking Sisters of the Poor, and he's going into the debate against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Like that's not a game you want to get involved in. It's going to be a thrashing. So better to not show up and just take the.
I don't get why they how they. I mean, that's a new thing. Like Trump said. I don't even think it started. Trump did it really, but not going to debate. Like he even debated Biden. And then, but he said if he was gonna, he wasn't gonna debate or whatever. And now people are skipping debates. Like you shouldn't be able to run unless people get to see you fucking go head to head with somebody, because that's just how tradition is. And if somebody's a real fucking asshole, if somebody can really stand out in that shit, and it's kind of the theater that I feel like we deserve. Like I feel like the January 6th.
As a group of voters, you could all agree that, wait a minute, this guy's skipping the debate. Forget it.
Right. Yeah.
We're not even going to, as a group, can't we all agree on one thing? That it would probably be a good idea that they all talk in one room together, even if it's arguing and yelling and doing things. But for a guy to not show up, doesn't that just kind of smack of like, it's not that important?
Yeah, they're just trying to hide the idiocracy comparisons.
Right,
at this point. They're like, look, man, we cannot. It's going to look exactly like that, you assholes, if you go out.
You know who would never skip a debate is Ted Cruz, because he was did debate in college and was like, I think he was like really good at it, but just good in the way that make you want to fucking punch him, get you off of your game and shit. And it's just a swarmy little cunt or whatever, but it seems like that's kind of a skill set that some of them use. But being introduced as an empty podium is, that's what that's Chad wouldn't skip a debate. He may not answer the question you wanted answered, but he wouldn't skip a debate.
He'll answer in a passive aggressive manner.
If you want sound bites,
all questions.
If you want sound bites, I'll give you sound bites. If you want good policy, I'll give you good policy, but right now I'm going to smoke a bowl.
And if you want all your teeth, you'll ask me a smarter question than that.
Yeah. Sometimes I want to beat the shit out of ignorant fucking people. Don't you? Yeah,
This guy's through the roof. His numbers are incredible.
We got to get it on the thing, because I think that Christina Cinema, is that her name?
Kirsten Cinema.
She's just a fucking a weird fucking broad, and I think
she's a terrible cunt. And what she did was she ran.
A con artist.
She was a con artist.
Totally.
She ran as a progressive. She got in office, and then she got offered a whole bunch of money by the Koch brother that's still alive to make sure she voted to keep the filibuster, because they knew they just needed 1 or 2 votes there. And she was like, fuck yeah, I'll take that money. And that's what she's done. So
what are the Koch brothers kids? Are the kids going to jump right in there and be douchebags too? Or will they're fucking evil? I mean, Jesus Christ, those guys got money to do whatever they want in this world, and they spend their time propping up fucking weird fucking douchebags and bad causes. and now they're down to one, right? There was two.
There's down to one.
died.
Yeah, but this kind of shit is like the Hydra. One dies and it's replaced by three. There's a fucking guy now named Peter Thiel who is one of the worst fucking assholes alive.
Yeah, I saw.
And he is a Silicon Valley tech guy who he funded the hillbilly elegy guy JD Vance, who just won the primary in Ohio, who's a soulless former never Trumper who's now like, I love Trump because he wants to win.
Greatest president of all time.
Yeah,
Peter Thiel's funding him.
Peter Thiel's funding him, and Peter Thiel is a guy who is like a hardcore right winger who is also gay. So it's really odd that somebody is really like funding the group of people that is actively trying to erode the rights that directly affect you.
Yeah,
he just doesn't care because he's got so much money that.
Well, when you're at the top of the cult, the rules don't affect you, so it doesn't matter. The top of the pyramid, you don't have to.
Exactly right.
Buy in.
Exactly correct.
It's the same kind of gay
that thing in Lake Mead.
The what? Lake Mead?
Lake Mead. Did you guys see that article about that body in a
that they're
barrel?
Yeah, body in a barrel, and they're saying they're speculating there'll probably be more bodies that'll be uncovered. It's like the lake is it's
dropped
down
so far,
and it's so close to Vegas. How can you not throw a body you're just on your way places. It wasn't
from the
like
70s to the 80s, they said. Late 70s to early 80s, based on the Kmart shoes, one article I read said.
Oh, really?
His shoes said gas on the fucking bottom of the treads.
They were the generic pump basketball and the tongue ones.
There must have been somebody who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, more so than a gangster. With the Kmart shoes, he just witnessed a murder and they fucking killed you and threw you in a bucket.
Or there was a mob boss sitting behind the desk. Did you dress him in peasant clothing like I told you to do?
Yeah. They think
I want him embarrassed.
That's the way to bury somebody, is make them look homeless. And then they're buried and forgotten. Hey, this guy was in a suit when I killed him.
So, they found him by a boat dock. But they said originally it would have been about 100 feet deep where he was, and he wouldn't have been found. I think
we
so far back.
I think we all got to look at that lake coming back from Panamint, or at least I did this last year, and it's like it's I was there many years earlier or whatever, not that many 10 years earlier or whatever, and it was like it's like kind of frightening to see that. I mean, it is frightening because it's like, oh shit, this is a big deal to see it down like that, and then it's just gonna it's like Lake Shasta's like that. A lot of the houseboats aren't out like they would, so it's just not what it was. And it probably doesn't look like it's gonna have a major comeback, so it'll just keep going down. So then it'll eventually be like like a golf course or something. It'd be cool as the golf course if there's people.
Of rich soil at the bottom, all them dead bodies down there.
Yeah, you'll find a few of my sunglasses down there. But it's gonna be a thirsty future. And I'm trying to make up for, well, I mean, it won't help in the future, but doing my water drinking today. God damn it. This is the day for it. My old cat is, this might be the last pod. He's been a loyal listener to most of the podcasts I've filmed up here, international ones, all those international ones. But Bennett is, he's showing definite signs that, I don't know. I feel like he might go without any a boost. He's not suffering, but he's just getting weak. So something's going on. So just giving him a good quality of life, carrying him out to take leaks, so I don't have to worry about that. And
so that's Bennett. I thought you said Mr. Squishles was the
yeah,
one
that's
on the list.
he's
You
Bennett.
got two
That's
on
his.
that, you said?
No, Bennett is AKA Mr. Squishles. We named Bennett was his given name, but my daughter called him Mr. Squishles, and just thought it was funny.
My animals have several names too. I get it.
Yeah. I call it. I used to. I don't know why I stopped calling him Doctor Squishles. Like Doctor Squishles, good to see you, sir, or whatever. But I guess because I haven't parted company with him for quite a while. Like we just hang out, and when I go somewhere, he follows me, and then I feed him, and then I guess I know he's drinking a lot of water, so I think his kidneys are shutting down, and then he's got to piss a lot. But it's like I get up and I got to judge whether he's just looking for a death position or he might start spraying piss out of him. But the Canadians suggested, and it's like, it takes Canadians to cut through the bullshit. They said, why don't you bring a litter box up here and just put some rugs under it? And yeah, good idea.
It took Canadians for you to figure out to bring the litter box.
Well, he would still go downstairs and use the litter box, but if I left clothes on, because he pissed on my shoe and he pissed on pants, and it was like, but if I don't leave stuff on but anyway, I don't know if it's going to be a problem next week. Just saying.
I think you should send Mr. Squishles on a forever vacation to Mishka Shubali's house. So Mishka could bond with Bennett and, create a lifelong connection that he can Instagram about.
Well, the difference between me and Mishka is I put in more than, I put in 17 years with this fella, but I probably won't tape myself crying. Probably won't take a shirtless picture of me holding its corpse and put it up, but I can't imagine how much has been bottled up in me. Like when this breaks open, it's gonna I'm gonna be like I don't know how. I know where the drive is, and I know I'll probably but I'll bet there won't be a peep out of the passenger, and because it's just she's part of a group. They as a group just don't carry on like. But I'll be like Southern Baptist funeral cracked open.
Well, I'm sorry to hear all of that about Bennett, aka Mr. Squishles, buddy. But 17 years for the cat is like, and just hospicing the cat and trying to give the cat best kind of end it can have. When Rooney went last fall, it was hard, and we cried a lot. But it was also like, wow, this cat or this dog, went out in a way that was the best for it, so if you can make that happen, it is comforting to know that you helped this thing check out, and in a way that it wasn't, it didn't suffer, it didn't do all whatever all these things are, so
what's the cult that did the purple sweatsuits, the San Diego
Heaven's Gate?
Was Heaven's Gate. That's kind of what I'd like. Besides putting him in a sweatsuit, but I did think about that. It's like if I had if I was, like had a Hugh Hefner drawer or a Bill Cosby drawer or whatever, and I'd give him a shot of something to put him out, and then put a bag over his head.
Hold on. What the Bill Cosby drawer or the Hugh Hefner drawer?
The Hugh Hefner,
a drawer full of like illicit drugs.
Neither of those guys are known for injecting drugs, so I shouldn't say that. They like to mix it in or demand that they just do something to loosen up a little bit, or whatever the case may be. But if I was a veterinarian, I would that's what I would like, because he's I shouldn't talk about his death while he's right here, but like I'd have the hole dug and the box ready, and then I'd just put him down with on a sunny day with the sun on him. But he may just go on his own too. But
I hope so, because your idea sounds fucking
horrific. Absolutely terrible.
Out.
Heroin, like
would drown it.
You want to do a bunch of
bag
heroin
over its head?
Andy,
I'm saying,
that's what
there
are
did.
services.
That's what I'm saying. The cult did. I'm saying if I had the thing, I would do the shot, and then you do a second shot. Why wouldn't I just learn the second shot? I wouldn't put a bag over his head.
Andy, coming from a guy who has shot multiple pets with a 22 in the back of the head, I'm telling you, your idea is fucked up.
Hey man, here's some Henry Phillips pet news. I'm like Henry Phillips was obviously just like, you know, on a higher plane than at least I was. Like Henry was like not taking, even when I brought up Hennigan, he goes, yeah, it'd be good to see all you guys. And then I thought, wow, he can say that about Hennigan. That's fucking amazing. And then you lived it, man. But I'm saying I would have, that's how I'd want him to go out. It's just, I mean, I don't like the idea of driving him someplace that makes him nervous to put him down.
No, don't. Do what we did with Rooney. Find the service that will come to your house and do it for you. What you do is you find that service. They'll come to your house. They'll give you Mr. Squishles a shot that will be a sedative. And then after the cat is completely relaxed, they'll give him a second shot that'll put him out. Mm-hmm. And you spend the days before that doing a Mr. Squishles party where Mr. Squishles gets to eat every kind of fucking thing Mr. Squishles wants to eat. And you just, you know, you go out like a fucking champ. That's available to you. You don't have to overthink this.
Yeah. Well, look, I wanted to research that.
Pet euthanasia near me on Google.
Oh yeah.
That's your best bet, Andy.
Don't Google cult suicides and then try to rank them like, well, I guess I could get the cat to drink some Kool-Aid, or I could put a bag over his head. Tell him there's a comment outside.
No, I would never do a Jonestown.
David Koresh.
Yeah, I think everybody was kind of
start the litter box on fire.
I don't think most of them were happy about it. You know, I think they're up. You know, there was a lot of moaning from what I remember. I mean, I wasn't there.
Wait a minute.
You can check my passport. I wasn't there, man.
Now the fees range, Andy, in Oregon from $14 to $231. So you can do a little shopping around.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a coupon or a Groupon.
Yeah, Mr. Hammer comes.
Look,
Mr. Big Hammer
neighbors need pets that need killed.
The neighbor's like a really frugal guy. He's like, look, my cat's only 12, but this is a good fucking deal.
For 15, you get the guy from No Country for Old Men.
Hey, fuck that guy. He already broke president talking on the deck. Just now, next time you see him on the deck, how attached are you to that cat? I'm looking to get a deal.
In a pinch, Andy, you can go to PetSmart.
Really?
PetSmart has a service. Not all of them. The locations vary. Between 50 and 100 there. So that's kind of like you had to.
Yeah, no, he's never been in the store. He'd be like, what the fuck?
No, this is the thing. This is the
guy
thing.
They said,
Never, ever take your animal away from the house to do this. Because they know something's up. They fucking know it.
Yeah.
And that's the
the energy I don't want.
And it's their last moments of existence. You don't want to make it fucking shitty. So it's such a great thing. When this happened with Rooney, I can't even imagine doing it a different way. I can't. And now I don't have the fucking cojones Chad has to take care of it himself, but Chad's doing it on the property. If you take a dog to a fucking vet to be put down, they fucking know what's coming. They know it.
All of that is my reasoning.
They shit everywhere. They piss everywhere. Yes. It's fucking terrible.
Their last moments are horrible. And I did the same exact thing. And I didn't do it today, but the moment I knew I had to go do it, I found like I said, whatever lunch meat was in the lunch meat drawer just all came out, and they went in the backyard with me, and they just chowed down until it was gone. Shredded chicken, whatever the fuck we got, they just get treats, and then and then they go right away. But I researched it to see if there was a faster way to do it than a bullet, other than what you're talking about, which is probably available here. I didn't even bother researching it because my dogs like people as much as I do, so they're still gonna have a shit time as soon as they get here. They're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this asshole?" And so,
I feel you.
and I don't want to deal with other people. And I think we did research it, and it was over 100 for him to come over here and do it. And I wasn't gonna. You know how cheap bullets were at that time. Now it might be cheaper. Just get them to do it.
Andy, I think your best bet would be a place called Peaceful Paws in Eugene, and they'll do it at home. But it's $200. So,
wow.
So look, put up
Take it out of
Andy's
tap
Let's
into my
get
medical.
Andy some donations so
No,
he can
well,
he can kill
I meant to
his
say
cat.
like I feel like last time I
Yeah,
talked
now
about
I feel cheap. I thought my 100 was expensive.
But
I think
didn't
we
send-
paid more than that for.
I'm more than I'm grateful for everything that people have given me, and I felt like I was complaining last time, and I got so much money for donations for the cancer and all that shit. People, I'm probably like fucking Suzanne Struthers popping up on the screen again, going, "Hey man, now my cat's fucked up."
Suzanne.
You mean Sally Struthers?
So yeah. Combined a couple of entities from the same time period in TV. Not quite. There was Sally Struthers was a presence on TV for a lot of years for her activism, and she was also wonderful as Rob Reiner's wife in All in the Family.
Yes, she was.
Suzanne Summers.
She was also not Suzanne Summers from Three's Company.
Yeah, that would have been a whole different dynamic if Sally Struthers was in there.
Yeah,
I got to kick an animal.
Suzanne Summers sells the Thigh Master.
Yeah, and she still looks good in her
meat.
infomercials. Suzanne Struthers, on the other hand, put on some pounds, unfortunately.
Sally Struthers.
Sally, God damn it.
Still can't get it right.
Hey man, you should have heard me back in the '80s with the Heathers.
Remember South Park made an episode where they were making fun of Sally Struthers and she ate all the food that was donated to the kids in Africa.
That's why the kids are still starving.
Yeah.
That's mean. I think she's pretty right there. I think that's a here's the thing. Look at Sally Struthers right there. That is a woman who is aging gracefully in that picture. She is who she is. If you put on a few pounds when you get older, that's natural. These fucking people who are having all this work done, they look like fucking maniacs.
Oh yeah, I don't want to talk about it because it's my recommendation. But just like dudes, I'll bring up later. But in specific dudes who, there's like a handsome dude in this thing. I'll mention later. And then you can tell like just at some point he got work done, and it's like you just look. Even a handsome dude who gets his face pulled a few times, he just look fucking weird. Like you go into David Hasselhoff.
Look at Mishka Shubaly there. I mean,
that's Mishka just did his lips a little bit.
How to make a bad situation worse.
Hey, if Mishka looked like that, I wouldn't have blocked him on it. Yeah, I don't think Mishka's had his face chiseled, but it's by just life experience.
Mishka's
he wants you to believe that. Yeah, and he's lean. I think being lean, if you're like real fucking lean though, like if you get, beyond where it's healthy, you look like you had plastic surgery almost. It's the same look. It's like something's fucked up and your cheeks are kind of fucking off kilter.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the eye ones where it's like dudes are in their 60s and there's not one single line. And
somebody told me about seeing. It was Hennigan. I don't remember what the movie was. The show is. It's something that's new that is a thing, but that Nicole Kidman looks fucking insane. And that breaks my heart because I always thought Nicole Kidman was the fucking hottest. I thought she was like the prettiest woman. She would be one I would expect to just age gracefully and be like, well, I look older now. This is how I look. Like Diane Keaton just aged gracefully. She was pretty all the way. I don't know what she looks like now. She was always pretty. She didn't have any work done. It's like
Meg
just
Ryan and
looked
Dennis
like
Quaid are the ones Jenny and
Oh,
I
yeah.
always bring up that were
Meg
would
Ryan.
have just been both of them just beautiful forever, you know.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like Meg Ryan was just like I think almost everybody who watched her had a crush on her, and she was and then cut to after a few of those surgeries and shit, and it's like, and then they keep chasing it.
Well,
it's
yeah.
like, okay, well now I
try
don't
to
look
fix
as good
it.
as I did, but this is just part of it, and then keeps building, and then pretty soon you look like the Dallas Cowboy owner.
Jerry Jones.
Just a ridiculous fucking, like
it's a mental illness.
Yeah,
it has. It's a mental illness. It's like hoarders, like where you don't see it. Like I don't really see it. You know.
I think if you just
otherwise you'd wake up shocked every day. What the fuck have I done to myself? You know. You have to be just blind.
It could be maybe just like getting knocked out on the drugs, and then oh well, I got to go through 6 weeks on these pain meds because I got my ass tightened. It's like,
You think it's just Hail Mary for pain meds?
Maybe.
Fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's part of the addiction cycle though.
There's Meg Ryan.
Yeah, beautiful now. Cutting her other face. Shaylee jumped in her face.
Bring up a picture of the Joker from Batman because that's what Meg Ryan looks like.
It's like the Michael Jackson kind of scenario where they get past the point where they can get it back to where, so I think she just altered her face, which I think, it'd be nice to see what she looked like now. She'd probably be getting a lot more work. But who was the one who, anyway, I can't think of names.
Here we go. She must have a good publicist because there's not a lot of the really bad photos.
But I found one.
Oh, yeah.
She's like Mickey.
She's not married to Mellencamp anymore, is she?
I don't know.
That wasn't Meg Ryan?
She was dating or married to John Cougar Mellencamp. Oh, yeah. See that?
Oh!
Now that just looks like any girl at my class reunion.
No, too far.
Yeah.
Is she with John? It's like you get old enough, it starts to turn to taffy. It just stretches.
She's not married to John Cougar anymore, and he don't go by that anymore. But that's how I knew him, John Cougar. And then when he went to Mellencamp, I was like, "Fuck him! I'm going over here to join this fucking group called Def Leppard." Instead,
that was your jump.
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, I was like, John Cougar was just such a pop thing or whatever. And then I started, I think it was Bon Jovi. I started listening to in that time zone and going, man, I like this other rock. It's more rock than this other shit.
Your John Cougar didn't hardly have any cougars in it at all. And then your Def Leppard was completely void of leopards. It was just a complete disappointment all the way to Power of the Dog.
Yeah. Well, Bryan Adams was worth it. That was one of my first concerts watching Bryan Adams rock it. And he was a fucking rebel, leather jacket wearing rebel. And I was fucking in. And then I was like, and then I was just like a fucking pop. And then, like shit like Scorpions jumps out at me. Was like, fuck yeah. I want to do drugs.
Oh yeah, Scorps, man, fucking.
You couldn't listen to Scorpions and not want to go drinking right away, like in the high school parking lot. And a lot of times I did. I had we didn't even have the term day drinking. We just did it.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't celebrating.
That's a love of the game right there.
Yeah. It's pre-game either. There was no such thing as pre-gaming. It was just all part of the game.
Yeah. Remember when you go to a party and you just shotgun a couple of beers and you didn't feel like it was weird at all?
That's how you got on step.
Yeah. It's like
man.
You see a party and everybody's in progress. You're like, fuck it. You can either try to talk to them or join them. And the best way to join them is to shotgun a couple.
Driving.
Yeah.
I drove here, so I got to catch up. Give me shotgun 2 beers. Give me a church key.
Mm-hmm. I drove a station wagon. The front end's already caved in. The only repercussions of drinking and driving back then was going through your windshield, and it was like, big deal. They weren't even policing that shit in my town. You just drink and drive, smash something, get the tow truck, have somebody yank you out of a ditch. Chances are you weren't going to get in trouble. Like every
I
morning,
didn't even think about it till I was gonna say I didn't think about it till later, but we would just set giant bonfires of pallets up just right outside of town. It was obvious. There's fucking 40 cars driving out there in a giant fire, and they ignored us all the time. It was nice.
All that paperwork. Who wants to fucking?
You know, you watch Porky's too, and you think the police are just doing more work than they really are.
Well, and I found out later all the same party spots that I knew in high school were the same party spots my dad knew in high school. So it was a tradition at that point. You know, people just let it go. And
I went to one specifically that I remember was like a Dazed and Confused beer blast out away from shit, and that's when I ended up with the lizard. I'll just say his first name because it's Denny Hairlip, and that's not his fault. I've learned.
Wait, did you just say his first name or did you?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, he said his first name, but he also identified him as Danny the Hairlip.
So yeah, no one will know who you're talking
about. The lizard. He went, you know, he went, well, he didn't go by.
And then you
that's
added
what I
his
didn't
nickname?
That's what I didn't understand.
Why don't you put his fucking social security number up?
It might have been like Squint where it wasn't see, I think to have a nickname, you've got to, now I've learned this, now that I'm woke, is you have to endorse your nickname. And I think that was some of Squint's problem, is he didn't endorse the Squint thing. You know, what he heard was, you, hey, guy with your eyes 90% shut. You know, that's what it was. It wasn't anything.
I love that, like, Hairlip wasn't enough of a kind of a teasing taunt nickname that you also had to call him a lizard.
Well, I didn't know what that was, but I had to, you know, I didn't understand that when I first heard it. Like, it was like,
Hairlip.
You know, it's it had, you know, it's like I was expecting.
Hairlip was his last name.
I guess the hair really part just comes in later, but right now it's just.
What are the odds that a guy last name Hairlip also has a hairlip?
That's anyway. At the beer blast, I think I already talked about this, but on the way back, the lizard said that he didn't like being called lizard, and that he was thinking about burning my house down with my family in it.
I do remember this story.
I thought just a few minutes, like, man, I should probably fucking eliminate the problem now. But I definitely didn't.
He threatened you and your entire family.
Yeah, and I talked.
Kill you all.
I don't even. I think we dropped him off where he wanted to be dropped off after. I was like,
matches and gasoline store.
Yeah. But I definitely dropped the whole lizard thing. You know, he's never in my circle.
We'll just drop you off here.
But his, one of the lasting businesses was his family's bakery, and it's still there in Coquille. So, and that cinches it.
Bakery. Now they'll never find out who it is.
I'm sure, like, hey man.
There's just enough clues that someone might get it, but I don't know. It's really
lizard.
Out there.
Hey lizard, man, I've learned a lot. I didn't understand even what a hairlip was, so if I even brought that up, it was more of a question. Because I didn't understand.
I'm Googling Hairlip Bakery in Coquille.
Yeah, no, it's not that, but that business is still there, and it's still it's relatively it's in a different location, just across the street, but it's the same it's like walking into the past, and I keep expecting the lizard to walk out of there and go, man, don't call me that. And he played
Fraser's Bakery.
Yeah, Lizard wasn't an athlete, but he played football one year. You imagine, and I don't know what become of him, but it would be like if Hugh Hefner played football in high school. Like, get the fuck out of here. Hey. And well, Hugh Hefner was a slight little fella, and Lizard.
I think you're making a terrible analogy here. You just described this guy as a lizard and a hairlip, and you just compared him to the world's greatest playboy.
Well, I don't know how. Maybe it worked out that way for him. Maybe, But I mean, I don't know how we jumped to hair lips from surgery, because some surgeries aren't like, ego driven. Or well, that's the same. I guess getting rid of a hair lip is ego driven because you want to be the guy.
It's a terrible thing to have.
Yeah, that's what they are. That's the thing. I didn't even know that term back then.
Yeah,
hair lips.
It's something you should have surgically fixed for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not ego.
And exactly. you're and I'm glad you're woke.
It's bad for Kool-Aid stains alone.
It's probably like it'd be a bummer, but hey, everybody's gonna get a chance to come out of everybody's gonna get a chance to come out.
Bummer. I think we should get windbreakers that say that to raise awareness.
Matching windbreakers that all say hair lips are a bummer. Or wait, how about matching windbreakers that
don't donate to me, give to hair
that
lips.
say hair lips are a bummer, but each one of us has only one word on the jacket, so we all got to stand next to each other in order at the high school football game. So that
I know I brought this up at that. I was at that ice skating competition, and I went to a bar, and this guy kept doing, and he was unenlightened too, and he kept doing hair lip jokes, and we got thrown out of the place, and the guy just said he just didn't want us in there. It wasn't because I go. I tried to give it reference, like it's okay, he's not, but it's like like he did the right thing, just get rid of it, all three of us.
Yeah.
We were three.
Nip it in the bud.
And it was like being in that in Groundhog Day. It's just in a car in a taxi with two random drunks, and we went to another bar where we had a couple of shots and hung out like we're the asshole club. Never just hang out with if you get kicked out with other assholes, just don't hang out with them unless you came there with them. It's nothing, it's like when Walt and Jesse got together in Breaking Bad. It's just, it's like we you're with two guys who are trouble. If you're not, like I knew I wasn't, but I was encouraging him to keep doing the jokes because that was after the end of the Unbookables, and I needed entertainment. So when it was that first trek away from the Unbookables, and then I end up with that for going, this is pretty good. I mean, and I'd seen all of Wilkerson's sets, and that's a big lie because I didn't watch Norm at all. I just watched this. I watched Norm a little bit, and then I could just hear the crowd. But he was doing a character or whatever, so it was a little altered or whatever on that. But just that his character, it wasn't Norm that was bombing; it was his character. But his character was unironically bombing.
What are you talking about when he was doing the Satan?
Yeah, because he just did the Satan character.
The thing was that, as I remember it, he basically dressed like Satan and then just did his regular act.
Absolutely.
That was the problem.
And then he ruined it.
He didn't even do jokes. Like, I thought, oh, this is going to be great because his makeup was amazing. He looked like, and he had a blazer on that made him look like he was a party host. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be funny.
I think he had teeth.
As when Brendan Walsh did Scary Monster, and he went up and he did, hacky stand-up jokes from the perspective of a scary monster. And
hilarious.
Didn't do that.
Yeah. He did.
And then did his Men and Women Are Different bit.
Yeah, and then and then he was an old Jewish sounding guy, but he would also kill the joke by going to the bar before the show.
Yeah, he let everyone see him. But
like mingling around us, like, so people are like, "Oh, what is this? A fucking weird Star Wars show or something?" and then
Darth Maul is opening up.
He kind of sounded like Jackie Mason. Like he did Norm's material, but he sounded like Jackie Mason.
I mean, you could go up as the devil, and you could do 5 minutes on the song Devil Went Down to Georgia about how you got screwed in that fiddle contest and the whole thing was rigged. And,
I'd say I fucked Charlie Pride in the ass. Or no, not Charlie Pride. That's wrong.
Charlie Daniels.
Charlie Daniels. Oh, man. That sounded racist. I picked the one.
Suzanne Struthers.
I picked the one Suzanne Charlie that's a black guy in country history. Right? I think Charlie Pride's a black man.
I think that when you think about it, really though, Andy, Norm's run as Satan opening the Unbookables show was kind of a real microcosm for the whole experience. In other words, there was so much potential there that was unrealized that it was like exactly like the Unbookables itself. Like
his premise
itself was just a longer version of Norm Wilkerson's failed attempt at doing 5 minutes as Satan.
He was kind of like the moral compass of the show there when he on the. Were you in the van for the worst part of the Unbookables to me was driving from San Antonio.
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't there. We were all broke. You know, like you saw it in my eyes. I was probably asking for drugs immediately. I was in a van with Norm Loud talking, a boom mic guy. Jeff was in the front seat with the driver, and then Inman, and for that fucking for hours, it was just like hell. I mean, I would have killed either of them to shut them off if I had a knife gun. I would have, I would have stabbed them. But
that was the complaint about the movie was that they made it a reality TV show. They set us up into positions we never would do in our real life. We never rode in a van to the gig together, having loud conversations. We rode to gigs quietly, not talking to each other because we were hungover. If we might not even be in the same car. We regrouped at the show. Like that's not how it went down. It didn't go down like that. So they made it like the way they do reality shows now. They contrived a situation comedy for us to be in, and it was fucking awful.
It's like the Scooby-Doo van. But even Scooby-Doo didn't ride together after the second season. Like,
they all had their own van.
Yeah, they all had their own van, and Glenn Fry was in one of them. Like what? These guys originated not wanting to be with each other. I heard that about ZZ Top too. The guys that are all driving around in the same car, waving to chicks, all have their own bus. What? Come on, man! Can't we all hang out and smoke weed like Willie?
Oh shit. All right. Are we getting there? Are we getting close?
We're getting there.
Yeah, it's getting a little politicized. The thing, I don't even think this was in the Unbookables, but Norm was the one. We wanted Brendan to come with us on the track, and then it was like one or the other. And it was like Norm fucking just wanted in, and Brendan, threw. I don't think Brendan cared, it was just like it was going to be fun, rowdy with Walsh, and it was going to be Norm trying to play to the camera for fucking hundreds of miles on the road, and then Inman and him got in so many arguments. And I don't think any of this, whatever, it was like B-roll or whatever. But at the end of it, Wilkerson's spirit was broken, and all he wanted was to go stay in a place and have stew. He kept repeating that over and over. Like you could just tell his spirit was broken because he, when the road trip started, he was like, "Hey man, how do you come up with your bets?"
Yeah.
And looking at the camera, God damn it.
When Travis Lipsky and I joined the tour, it was in Kansas City. And by that point, Brendan Walsh was long gone. And Sean and Andy and Norm and Inman were there. But it had the feeling of something that was over. Like,
it was.
Andy didn't want any part of it. He was hiding, and I couldn't get him to come. I was mad at Andy. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you talked me into this, and now I'm here, and you're nowhere to be fucking found. And
offset like Belushi.
Yeah. Yeah. And clearly something had happened on the first, week and a half or 2 weeks of it, which I later found out was, the gig where they had to be behind chicken wire and people threw shit at them. And it was basically it was a fucking disaster. And then these long van rides of contrived, terrible bullshit. So when we got to Kansas City, tensions were already high. And that's when Travis and I joined,
Yeah. That's when I remember the moment where Lipsky and Inman locked eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, fuck, two stags.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just thinking of it in the way that John Wayne Casey films, stag films, but too fucking.
The idea of comics being on the road like that, I mean, it's been done, other vehicles and stuff, but something that I just discovered that I'm halfway through right now that I can't recommend enough. If you like that idea of like behind the bits, road stories between veteran comics, is Joyride with Dana Gould and Bobcat Goldthwait. And yeah, it's everything that you'd want it to the Unbookables to be, but two successful guys, and then all the pitfalls and all the bullshit
Hey, Rouse
that they
is
went through in their
successful.
lives.
You didn't have to say it like that, Shaylee.
Rouse is
All
very
right,
successful.
so Joyride with Dana. First of all, Dana Gould is. I mean, I love Bobcat.
So funny. Yeah,
he's one of the nicest, sweetest, and funniest guys ever. And Bobcat was very nice to me. He came to Peoria a bunch of times. He helped me out a lot in my career. He is a really, really good person and a very talented and successful person. Dana Gould is fucking next level funny. And it's amazing to me that he is not more of a household name. He was the head writer of The Simpsons for like 10 fucking years.
I remember something
Some of his stand-up sets some of his old stand-up specials are like it's like you can see the people, like you can see the comedians that Patton Oswalt became, like those kind of guys who were like a little bit alternative but super funny. They were just doing what Dana Gould was already doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I saw him. I saw him at Largo. I remember this line. I don't remember things, but he said, like popcorn. He goes, "It's like, why are the ones at the bottom all burnt out and useless or whatever?" And he goes, "Because those ones have integrity." I always say, since I heard that, I always think of popcorn that way, like the ones at the top are the ones like, the ones that get the Tonight shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Pop all buttered.
That's what's so great about this is because you don't even know how much you've heard Dana Gould's fucking comedy because he's been a writer for so long, and they do a lot of backstory stuff. And then I found out Bobcat Goldthwait lit the Tonight Show on fire.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
He went to jail for that.
He did, yeah. And then he had to do PSAs for burn victims.
I think I remember seeing one of those.
Where do I find this?
You could get it on Prime, but to rent it, it's totally worth it, and it's fucking great.
What's the title of it?
I can't wait. I have to wait until I can actually watch it and not fall asleep because I don't want to wait too late at night because it is fucking good. I watched it yesterday in the afternoon just to have a suggestion for today, and I was fucking hooked, man. It was so good.
Right on. Nice. It's called Joyride.
Joyride.
Well, that very nicely segues us into a new thing we're going to do here on Issues with Andy. Every episode, we're going to end with recommendations from each of the four of us. So a lot of times we talk about shit we've seen. Sometimes we feel like talking about some of that stuff is, we're talking about a party that you guys haven't all been to. And there's nothing worse than listening to people talk about a fun time they had that you weren't at.
You got a shotgun of beer.
We decided to kind of take those things and package them in at the end of the episode. So we're going to end every episode with each of the four of us making a recommendation, whether it's a movie or a TV show or just an idea or something in our lives that we, that has affected us or touched us in some way that we are going to recommend to you. So that's a nice job, Shaylee, of getting us started with Joyride on Amazon Prime. And
I haven't watched it. I've watched like half of it.
Well,
purposely not to watch the end because I wanted to tell you guys about it. So if we want to talk about it, because it is such a good movie.
All right.
Oh, sounds interesting.
I'll go next. The other night, Mitchell and I went to a movie. We actually went out to a movie, and it's funny because when the Hennigans got here, they immediately started talking about this movie, and of course, Brian Hennigan thought it was overrated, garbage, trash, and I thought it was amazing. I think it's one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. I don't see a lot of movies, so it'll be one of those things where if it's nominated for Best Picture, I'll want this one to win because I probably wouldn't have seen any of the other ones. But it's a movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
And it is it's about a Chinese couple that runs a laundromat, and they're middle-aged. They have a teenage daughter that's a fucking pain in the ass, and the wife has an old father that's a fucking old, asshole, stick in the mud. He's the actor who was the maitre d in the Seinfeld episode.
Seinfeld
Yeah,
Fall?
that
Oh
guy.
yeah.
That guy plays the old father-in-law. He's fantastic. This movie
He's been in
was
400 movies,
fucking
by the way.
great. This movie was great. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I don't even know how to describe it, and I don't want to give too much
Are
of
there
it
any dogs in it?
There are no dogs in it.
Okay.
But they don't tell you there are dogs in it.
Yeah.
So, they do say everything. So that kind of implies
Kittens.
dogs.
It complies,
Actually, now that you say that.
I thought that was a racist joke for a second.
Oh yeah, no. I don't even know that would be.
Actually, now that I
It's
think
parallel.
about it,
It's parallel too. It's parallel too, but I don't ever think of that with Chinese. That's
so
I realized right away it wasn't.
I think it's the Vietnamese that eat the dogs.
Hey,
but this movie was brilliantly acted, amazingly well written, and it goes into areas that I see. Here's the thing. I had heard that this was a great movie and a movie I should go see from someone who I trusted. So I decided to go see it without knowing anything else about it.
Oh,
so
great.
I went into it not knowing what it was, and what this movie ended up being blew my fucking mind in a way. I'm like, oh, now I'm upselling it too much. It was just really cool. It wasn't what I expected at all. And
a lot of karate.
It's got a little bit of everything. It's got the whole thing. You'll laugh and you'll cry and you'll feel like you learned something. And I fucking thought it was great. And the husband is an actor who is making his return to acting from probably a fucking 30-year retirement.
Really? Wow.
It's fucking.
Did he hit somebody with a guitar?
No, he didn't. It's not Kenny Moore. It's the guy who played Data in the Goonies and Short Round in
Oh, really? Yeah.
Indiana Jones. He plays the husband, and he's fantastic. So
that was a travesty for sure. That was Short Round was so good, but that movie sucked so bad.
Yeah, well, he never recovered from it.
Yeah.
But Everything Everywhere All at Once, go see it. It's fucking great.
I've been looking forward to this. I have my little post-it note with my pencil so I can write down everybody's recommendation. I had a couple of them throughout the week, so now I have one already stored up for next week if I don't do anything. But this was something that I found. I started thinking about the different platforms that we might find stuff on. Every time I recommend something like on HBO Max, I feel all fancy. Like, oh yeah, what an asshole! That must be nice to watch HBO Max, and it is. Thank you. But the this one is on YouTube, and I've enjoyed it in the yard, doing yard work when I felt like I wanted to watch TV instead. And like Shaylee pointed out, whenever I texted the picture to him, what mine was is it's good for nighttime. So, Twilight Zone radio drama on YouTube, and they're the narrator is Stacy Keach. They're newer from like the 2000s, I think. So it's Stacy Keach is the narrator instead of Rod Serling. And it's got a bunch of big named actors and actresses in it. acting out, and a lot of them are really true to the episodes, but it's just
so they're
a radio
recreating
drama
the episodes entirely, or they're just doing like a radio audio version of it?
Just doing a radio version, and some of them are updated to include like cell phones and stuff. So there's slight variations in the stories, but a lot of them are really similar to the episodes, but just in a way that makes sense only listening. So,
right, cool.
Anyways,
I'm gonna listen to some of those on my walk.
And Stacy
short
Keach
walk.
is fucking great. That's Sergeant.
Hey man,
Stanko.
I think he had a cleft palate.
He
Stacey
did.
Keach.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Old hair lip Keach.
No, nobody calls him that.
No one. I don't want to.
Wait, he was a lizard in one of the Cheech and Chong movies.
Are you serious? Oh man.
Yes, Up in Smoke. He turned into a fucking. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give his last name away. Let's just call him a man named Stacy the Hair Lip.
Oh.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, he did turn into a lizard. He smoked that fucking crazy weed.
Maybe that's why it wasn't me. I didn't, my dad was good at nicknames. My dad would, like they go Wart Woman, I'm delivering her newspaper, and she was, I knew exactly who it was, but that's how he was. But anyway, Chad, I don't want to ruin the ending like I usually do.
There he is.
Yes.
Sergeant Stadenko.
Yeah. Do you have other one, Chad? Do you have another recommendation?
No, that's his recommendation.
Okay, all right, okay. Mine is
for the week. I'm banking my other ones because some of these.
By the way,
this isn't the entire time between when I talk to you guys, and I'm not gonna watch anything or have shit, so I'm banking one.
This isn't a recommendation, but I will say that you can watch this anytime and laugh your face off. It was months ago that deep in the pandemic, Mitchell and I watched Up in Smoke again. And it is laugh out loud funny all the fucking way through.
I couldn't
believe how funny it was. Oh my God.
Regular basis.
And fucking Tom Skerritt as fucking Strawberry, the Vietnam vet who dives off his motorcycle because he fucking sees fucking Viet Cong guys and leaves Cheech Marin in the fucking, the little buggy sidecar thing, cruising down the
I'm gonna watch
highway at like sped up film speed. I mean, that's just fucking high comedy right there.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, I don't think I got into their movies as much as I heard their radio bits, but I love Cheech and Chong from Dave's Not Here, Man.
Yeah. That's the scene right there where Tom Skerritt all of a sudden starts hearing fucking Vietnam voices and starts giving Cheech fucking telling him who to cover and what to fucking shoot at. And then he does a fucking barrel roll somersault off of the fucking motorcycle and leaves Cheech in the sidecar going, down the fucking street.
Yeah, Up in Smoke.
Man, I wasn't looking at his face, man.
Hey, man.
It's too funny. It holds up on such a level. You watch these old movies. The Jerk with Steve Martin holds up. It's fucking funny all the way through. Oh, man. Up in Smoke. Fucking get into it. All right, Andy.
Okay, so mine is on HBO Max. Chad was just saying. But
I'll watch it.
But I like just cult stuff in general, and this was the lady's hair on the dial. It's called The Way Down: God, Greed, and the Cult of Gwen Shamblin, and it's like a 5-part thing. And she started her own church, kind of based on fat shaming. I think like she had the way down, the way down, and it's like you can't please God if you're fat, and that was the whole basis of this thing. And she had a church and big fucking hair, and she marries this dude who was a handsome enough to be cast as Hercules in some fucking small movie, and then he became her sidekick and got his face all done and shit. It has a happy ending of sorts. I don't know if you know.
Her hair is incredible. I did watch this a couple months ago.
It's freakish, yeah. It like teased up isn't even the word for it. It's like a freak show.
You guys are talking about her hair when that's her face?
Yeah, that hair makes you forget the face.
Ooh.
but just the most superficial. It's kind of an insight into, why churches are so fucking weird. That somebody who could, just take control of a whole group by shaming them, and it's just it's a sales pitch, and then people can't even get separated. But
it seemed to me like it was a cult that was like, like a road comic level compared to a, theater performing headliner. Like she wasn't quite good enough to really get this cult really going. It just was kind of small, but she was definitely had all of the chops of a good cult leader. She was batshit insane and, super narcissistic, and, she did all the she
I would encourage my wife to go to that church, because they were they try to be sexy or whatever. I wrote I tweeted this today because it just occurred to me. It's because they dress up, the Jehovah's, they dress up and they wear kind of, it's like pilgrim cosplay. But I'm just, I watch this and it's like, what's that? There's not that much difference between what, they want your time, they want your energy, and they want your money, no matter what it is. But if you're these people just happen to be spotlighted. I think she drew attention to herself by she was on a lot of shows promoting her fat shaming religion, and it was like a program taught by a bunch of churches, and she did something that pissed them off. I forget what it was, but but it's just ridiculous. It's just another level of how ridiculous religion looks from the outside.
Yeah,
I think they're like the whole world that everybody didn't hate her on sight. That she could even have a friend makes me want to punch the whole world.
I thought the same thing when I watched it, and I can tell you that the context that they give you is that I think this is like in the middle of Tennessee, where it's
by
like
Nashville,
it's it's like one of these, like outer suburbs of Nashville, where every church is kind of a mega church, and these people like everybody has to go to a church, and everybody has to be seen at a church, and it's all about status and everything. And she's kind of a fucking minor league player in this whole church scene. And she's got her own weird little fetish and her own weird little kick. But
I guess Brett Brock lives about 18. Brett Brock lives in that area. And I said, I sent him that picture and said, and he said, I may have run into her in a store. And I go, you wouldn't remember her hair? And he goes, but for the area, her hair is just is a shining example, but there's probably plenty of heads that look like that.
Yeah, that wouldn't stand out.
There was nothing that outstanding or different about that church. They beat their kids. They control them. They, sexually abuse a few of them. One of the families murdered their kid in a church ritual. But other than that,
stuff.
It pretty much doesn't pale.
Now I really want to watch this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I remember from that is they hit their kid. They suggested hitting the kids with glue sticks. I was like, I never hit my kid at all, but this church is teaching you specifically what to hit them with. I say kids. I only had one kid.
They'll probably sell you the glue sticks too. Like, oh, here's your kids with. It's only
try this.
Scrapbook after.
Right? Yeah. We're gonna put glue caps on them, like a lunchbox.
All right.
Shit. All right. That's it. Yeah. It's not a high recommendation, but if you're high, it's worth watching.
Yeah, we'll put links to all of this stuff in the show notes as well. So good. I'm excited about looking at some of this.
Yeah. So,
all right. That's it. I feel like. What else do we have to mention?
That's
anything?
We did it.
All right. Andy's Venmo, you guys know it. Andy-Andrist. If you feel like helping him out so that
send me a glue stick.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys know about Chad's Twitch channel and his Twitch streams. He does all kinds of crazy, fun, weird shit. Maybe he'll go to Patagonia and threaten some people.
Did you? You didn't.
I tried to Twitch stream from there. I haven't Twitch streamed in a while. I might just quit doing it. I'm a horrible Twitch streamer. I don't have a regular
Sounds like if you had coverage out there, you just set it up at the old fishing stream and wait.
Just wait for that bell to ring.
If I had coverage, I'd have had fucking shitloads of views while I'm threatening people, yelling dipshit at people in the fucking thing. And goddamn cell coverage is robbing me. But I just don't. I don't know. You need to have a regular schedule for that to work, and I just don't. So
All right.
it's
Well,
not my anti campaign. I might.
That's
right.
Yeah, that's how
right.
I make
Fuck
money.
you. We don't Twitch.
I don't need your
Vote
money.
for me.
Yeah. Send your money to the other guys.
If follow along with Chad on Twitter at HD Fatty, and if he does do a Twitch stream, you'll know about it there for sure. So
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, and what else? Doug Stanhope is back in Bisbee, Arizona after a successful trip to Austin, Texas. That I think you will be able. Maybe by the time this is out, you will be able to enjoy a Joe Rogan and Doug Stanhope podcast. Which by all accounts, judging by how drunk both of them were yesterday when we saw them at Joe's show, that podcast went pretty well. So I haven't seen Doug that drunk in a long time. We were standing out back of the Vulcan Gas Company after the show was over, and Doug had the hardest gangster lean I've ever seen him have. I don't even know how he didn't fall over. His legs were going straight up and down, and then his hips and torso were bent at a 45-degree angle. And he stood that way for about 15 minutes. And at one point, he tried to get a cigarette out of his pack, but he had his drink in his hand in the same pack the cigarettes were in. So when he tried to get the cigarettes out, he got a cigarette out, but he also poured his drink on the cigarette. So he soaked it in alcohol before he lit it. It was a lot of fun. So I think that podcast is going to be really good.
Eric said the reason I had a call from Doug right when we were starting, and it was he had just landed in Tucson, and he had just gotten into a nose-to-nose like UFC press confrontation with another guy on the plane.
Really?
They got an argument, and then it went nose to nose out as they were getting up to leave. And he goes, I'm staying in. I go, where are you? Are you in jail? What's happening? He says, I'm in Tucson. I'll be home in the morning, but we're podcasting as soon as I arrive. So there's also we'll get the behind the scenes on everything else too.
I wonder if anyone captured it on. I haven't seen it on my Facebook scroll or whatever, but usually when people are yelling on a plane, there's like 6 cameras
Somebody
going.
else.
A third party that was not a flight attendant or a captain or whatever, a third party was like, relax, guys. Like someone stepped in to like keep these guys. Yeah. And then Doug took a page from Chad's fishing book and did a passive aggressive move right at the end that looked like it was going to escalate again. So that's what I was jotting down while you guys were starting up the podcast. So we'll have
a few podcasts. A few podcasts out there to catch up on.
Absolutely, that makes me happy. And here's another one to catch up on: the William Montgomery Show. Check it out. In fact, as we record this right now,
he's there.
A new episode of William Montgomery Show is just dropped on YouTube because it comes with Wednesday here in America as we record this, and that's when the William Montgomery Show comes out every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, and it's a lot of fun. This kid is fucking hilarious, and I love him. So check it out, William Montgomery Show on YouTube, and join our Patreon, just $5 a month, and you'll get all kinds of fun stuff, extra stuff. We're now doing extra shows for Patreon. We did one where we sat down, the 4 of us, with our good friend Junior Stopka, and that was fantastic. And we just recorded another one that will be out very, very soon, in a couple of days from when this one comes out for sure, with our good friend, the Highwayman, the world-renowned chef of Henry's Kitchen, Henry Phillips, not the dog, the comedian. joins us on a Patreon-only exclusive episode of Issues with Andy. So if you join the Patreon for $5 a month, you get all of these episodes with just the four of us doing our normal stupid bullshit, including our new exciting recommendations. And you will also get exclusive only shows where the four of us sit down with one of our friends and talk to them for an hour or two. So really, that's worth it. So jump on Patreon, patreon.com/issues with Andy. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell a friend. We love you. We'll be right back here next week doing this same stupid shit, just these same four stupid idiots. We'll see you then. Later.
Wow, a little heavy on the stupid.
Yeah, he said stupid. That's like how what Chad said to escalate.
I think that stung earlier about the Unbookables remark.
Do you guys not think that we're stupid?
Yeah, we don't have to broadcast it.
All right, well, we'll edit a couple of those stupids out.
Put smart in there.
Same bad
Yeah.
channel.
Hey,
same
man,
bad
green
time,
lights.
Same stupid guys. Same
Yeah,
stupid
green
shit.
lights. Say, hey, come back next week. We're going to have some smart shit that you can use in your own home.
Well, all smart, all smart, all smart.
All smart.